Ladies and gentlemen, there is a mystery written in heaven that not everyone will ever see. God Himself has declared, only the chosen carry the hidden marks that separate them from the rest. These are not marks of flesh, not marks carved by human hands, but signs that heaven inscribes deep within the spirit. You may not see them with your eyes, but their weight shakes nations, their presence disturbs darkness, and their power confirms destiny. There are countless people walking this earth, but only a few are chosen, and the chosen are not identified by their wealth, their beauty, or their fame. No, the chosen are recognized by hidden marks, 7 invisible flames that testify they have been touched, sealed, and set apart by God. The first hidden mark is the mark of unshakable faith. These chosen ones do not crumble when storms roar. They may bend, but they do not break. Where others drown in doubt, they rise in confidence, because their trust is not in man, but in the Almighty who never fails. The second mark is the mark of sacred isolation. Chosen souls are often misunderstood. They walk through lonely paths, abandoned by friends, separated from the crowd. But this isolation is holy. It is in the wilderness that God whispers their true name, and in silence that their destiny is sharpened. The third mark is the mark of holy fire. Look into their eyes, and you will see a burning that this world cannot explain. They are not fueled by greed or applause, but by a relentless passion for truth, justice, and righteousness. Others may call them too intense, but God calls them aflame with His Spirit. Faith is not a decoration, it is the lifeline of the chosen. When God marks His people with unshakable faith, He places in them something the world cannot destroy, no matter how fierce the storm. This faith is not borrowed from books or inherited from tradition. It is forged in the furnace of trials, shaped in nights of tears, and strengthened in seasons of silence. The chosen know what it means to stand when everything else collapses. They know what it feels like when friends abandon them, when doors close, when prayers seem unanswered, and yet their heart whispers, "Still, I trust." That whisper is not weakness. It is the echo of heaven reminding them that they are not ordinary, but carriers of a divine certainty that no storm can drown. Unshakable faith does not mean the chosen never feel fear or doubt. It means that even when fear comes, it cannot settle. Doubt may knock at the door of their mind, but it never builds a home there. Their faith is like a tree whose roots go so deep that winds may bend its branches, but it never uproots. Others may look at them and wonder how they are still standing, how they are still smiling, how they are still holding on when life has given them every reason to quit. But that is the mystery of unshakable faith. It is not sustained by human strength, but by a divine anchor that grips eternity. For the chosen, faith is not a word spoken on easy days. It is a fire tested in the dark. They have walked through nights where hope was dim, and the horizon offered no sign of light. They have stood in valleys where the shadow of death whispered threats, yet they kept walking. Why? Because the mark of faith inside them pushes them forward even when their body is weary. It is not their own willpower, it is God's seal upon them. The world sees it as stubbornness, but heaven knows it is destiny. The chosen cannot quit because their faith does not belong to them. It belongs to the one who planted it within them. Faith for the chosen is not tied to outcomes. They do not only believe when things go their way. Their faith is alive even when prayers are delayed, even when doors remain shut, even when blessings seem withheld. Their faith is not based on transactions. It is based on relationship. They believe not because everything is easy, but because they know who walks with them through the difficulty. This faith tells them that even if they do not see the answer today, The answer is already written in God's plan. And so, they endure with a strength that confuses the world. People ask them, "How do you keep believing when nothing changes?" And they answer, "Because I know the one who never changes." The mark of unshakable faith also makes the chosen dangerous to the enemy. A person who cannot be shaken is a person who cannot be controlled. When threats come, they do not bow. When temptations rise, they do not surrender. When lies are spoken, they do not believe them. They stand firm, and their firmness shakes the kingdom of darkness. Their presence becomes a testimony, not because they are loud, but because they are unmovable. Their faith becomes a shield not only for themselves, but also for others around them. Families are protected because of one person's unshakable belief. Generations are blessed because of one ancestor's refusal to give up. Nations are shifted because of one soul's decision to trust God against all odds. That is the power of faith sealed upon the chosen. And yet, this faith is often invisible to the eye. The chosen may look ordinary on the outside. They may walk quietly, work simply, live humbly, and blend in with the crowd. But when trials come, their true mark is revealed. While others crumble under pressure, they rise. While others complain, they worship. While others retreat, they advance. It is in crisis that their faith shines brightest. It is in darkness that their light is undeniable. And it is in impossibility that their mark is revealed for what it truly is: a gift from God, a seal of heaven, an unshakable certainty that cannot be bought, taught, or stolen. To carry this mark is both a burden and a blessing. It is a burden because the chosen will often face greater tests than others. Their path is not easy, their battles are not small, but it is a blessing because every battle only strengthens what cannot be destroyed. Like gold refined in fire, their faith grows purer with every trial. Like steel hammered by the blacksmith, their faith grows stronger with every strike. What was once fragile becomes unbreakable, what was once small becomes mighty, and what was once hidden becomes a shining testimony for all to see. So understand this: the chosen are not special because life is easier for them. They are special because life has tested them and yet could not destroy them. Their faith has been battered but not broken, delayed but not denied, wounded but never defeated. They carry within them the unshakable mark that says to the world, "I am not standing because of who I am, but because of who holds me." And that is the ultimate truth of unshakable faith. It is not about the strength of the chosen, but about the unbreakable promise of the God who chose them. The chosen are marked not only by faith, but by isolation. Sacred isolation is not loneliness for its own sake. It is the divine separation that God places on those he calls his own. From the outside, it can look like rejection, abandonment, or misfortune, but in truth, it is a holy appointment. When God chooses someone, he often removes them from the crowd because the crowd cannot carry the weight of destiny. Friends drift away, relationships break, doors close, and opportunities vanish, not because the chosen are cursed, but because they are being protected from distractions that would drown their purpose. Isolation is the secret classroom of heaven, where the chosen are taught lessons that the noise of the world cannot teach. Those who carry this mark know the sting of being misunderstood. They sit among people, but feel like they don't belong. They walk through life surrounded by others, but feel like strangers in their own land. It is not because something is wrong with them. It is because they are set apart for something greater. The chosen cannot fully blend in because they were not created to blend in. Their spirit carries a different rhythm, their heart beats to a different song, and their destiny is carved on a different road. People may accuse them of being distant, cold or unusual. But this is the price of carrying a calling that not everyone can understand. Sacred isolation is not chosen by the chosen. It is given by God. Often they do not ask for it. They do not wake up and decide to be apart. Instead, life begins to strip away attachments. Where others build circles, theirs collapse. Where others are embraced, they are ignored. But every empty space around them becomes filled with divine presence. What looks like human rejection is often heaven's redirection. In the silence of solitude, the chosen begin to hear a voice that the busy world never notices. The voice of God becomes clearer in the absence of constant noise. The chosen learn to survive without validation, to walk without applause, to stand without the support of men, because their strength is no longer in people, but in the one who called them. This mark of sacred isolation is both painful and powerful. Painful because human hearts long for companionship, for belonging, for shared laughter and mutual understanding. Powerful because through that pain comes transformation. Diamonds are not formed in open air, but in hidden pressure. Oil is not pressed in sunlight, but crushed in the dark. So too are the chosen formed in the furnace of solitude, where no one sees their tears, no one hears their cries, but God counts every drop and records every prayer. In those moments, their destiny is being carved into the marrow of their bones, their spirit is being refined, and their future is being prepared. The chosen often wonder why others can live in crowds and still succeed while they are stripped away from circles again and again. The reason is simple: not everyone carries what they carry. Some can thrive in noise because their mission is small, but those with eternal assignments cannot afford to be diluted by voices that lead them astray. They are isolated so they can be saturated in truth. They are separated so they can be filled with revelation. They are kept alone so that when they finally stand before the world, they will speak not from hearsay, but from divine encounter. Their words will carry fire, their presence will carry weight, and their steps will carry authority, because they were first crushed in the silence of isolation. The world often confuses sacred isolation with failure. They point at the chosen and say, "You are forgotten, you are abandoned, you are not like the rest." But heaven looks at the same person and says, "You are mine, you are hidden, you are reserved for the appointed time." Just as seeds must be buried in soil before they rise into trees, so too must the chosen be buried in seasons of obscurity before they emerge into visibility. The silence is not the end, it is preparation. The darkness is not a grave, it is a womb. And when the time comes, the chosen will rise with fruit that others cannot produce, because their roots grew deeper in isolation. To carry this mark is to live with the knowledge that you are never truly alone, even when you feel alone. God Himself walks with the chosen in their wilderness. He whispers encouragement in their empty nights. He strengthens them when no one else can see. He lifts their head when shame tries to bow it down. And so, though the chosen may cry in secret, they also grow in secret. Though they are hidden from men, they are revealed to God. And when the moment comes, that hidden strength will shine before nations. Sacred isolation is not forever. It is a season, but it leaves a permanent imprint. Once a person has walked alone with God, they are never the same again. They no longer fear rejection, because they know acceptance from the one who matters most. They no longer crave constant company, because they have learned the sweetness of divine presence. They no longer depend on the world's applause, because they have been sustained in silence. Their isolation has made them unshakable, their solitude has made them unbreakable, and their loneliness has made them eternal carriers of God's presence. So, if you find yourself marked by isolation, do not despair. It is not a punishment but a privilege. It is not a curse but a calling. It is not rejection but refinement. For those who are chosen cannot walk the wide road of many. They must walk the narrow road of destiny. And though the path may be lonely, the end is glorious. To be isolated by man is painful, but to be set apart by God is the greatest honor of all. The chosen are recognized not only by their faith and isolation, but also by the fire that burns within them. This fire is not natural. It is not born from ambition, pride, or the desire to be seen. It is a holy fire, a flame lit by the hand of God Himself. It is invisible to most, but undeniable to those who encounter it. You cannot explain it, yet you cannot ignore it. When the chosen speak, their words carry heat. When they move, their steps carry power. When they live, their very presence feels like a burning torch in a world drowning in shadows. The mark of holy fire is not decoration. It is a consuming force that sets the chosen apart forever. This fire is restless. The chosen cannot sit in silence while injustice rises. They cannot look away when lies are celebrated. They cannot stand idle when truth is trampled. Their spirit reacts not with empty anger, but with divine urgency. They burn for righteousness in a world that mocks it. They burn for purity in a generation drowning in compromise. They burn for truth in an age where deception reigns. People often call them extreme, too intense, too different. But that is because ordinary hearts cannot understand extraordinary fire. The chosen did not ask for this fire, yet they cannot live without it. It consumes them day and night, calling them to speak when silence feels easier, to stand when surrender feels safer, to act when apathy feels more comfortable. The holy fire is not gentle, it disrupts. It will not allow the chosen to remain lukewarm. It will not allow them to blend into the background. While others may be content with survival, those marked by fire crave transformation. Their passion unsettles mediocrity. Their presence challenges complacency. Their voice exposes falsehood. People either love them or hate them, but they cannot be ignored. They carry a flame that either ignites hope or provokes resistance, but it always demands response. This is why the chosen often face opposition. Fire attracts both warmth, seekers and enemies. It draws those desperate for light, but it also disturbs those who dwell in darkness. The fire within the chosen is also costly. Fire burns, and those who carry it often feel its heat first. They feel restless in places where others are satisfied. They feel burdened by things that others dismiss. They feel compelled to speak when silence would have protected them. Their fire isolates them further, because few can endure its intensity. Many will walk away, unable to handle the weight of their passion. But even in their loneliness, the chosen cannot extinguish their flame. For to quench it would be to betray the very purpose for which they were born. Their fire is not theirs to control. It belongs to the one who lit it. This holy fire is also refining. It does not only burn outward, it burns inward. The chosen themselves are purified by the flame they carry. It burns away their pride, their weakness, their selfishness, their doubt. It exposes their hidden fears and refines their secret motives. At times, it feels like torment, because it forces them to face what they would rather ignore. But in the end, it makes them purer, sharper, stronger. They emerge like gold tested in fire, glowing with a brilliance that no trial can destroy. Their scars become proof of survival, and their survival becomes proof of God's fire at work in them. And yet, the most beautiful thing about this fire is that it spreads. The chosen do not carry it for themselves alone. Wherever they go, sparks fall. A discouraged heart feels hope again. A broken soul finds courage. A weary spirit stands up stronger. The fire inspires others to believe, to fight, to endure. Sometimes without even speaking, the chosen ignite flames in the hearts of those who cross their path. Their life itself becomes a testimony that God still lights torches in a world that has grown cold. This fire cannot be stolen, imitated, or manufactured. Many try to copy it, but imitation has no heat. Some try to extinguish it, but holy fire is eternal. No amount of ridicule, betrayal, or persecution can put it out. It burns in prison cells, in deserts, in caves, in storms. It burned in prophets who stood against kings, in apostles who faced lions, in ordinary men and women who chose truth over comfort. And it still burns today in every chosen one mocked by heaven. The world may change, generations may fade, but the holy fire never dies. For the chosen, living with this fire is both heavy and glorious. Heavy, because they will never live an ordinary life. They will never feel peace in compromise, never feel comfort in silence, never feel satisfaction in half-truths. Glorious, because they will always live with purpose. Every breath, every step, every word matters. Their life becomes a living flame, guiding others out of darkness and pointing them toward the eternal light. To be marked by holy fire is to be both consumed and consumed with meaning. It is to live a life that cannot be explained by logic alone. It is to be a torch in the hands of God, burning in places where coldness has reigned too long. It is to be a vessel of passion that refuses to die down, no matter how hard the world tries to suffocate it. The chosen are carriers of this fire, and it is their seal, their weapon, their gift, and their calling. So if you feel restless when others are content, if you feel a burning in your bones that will not let you stay silent, if you feel a passion that others cannot understand, know this: you are not ordinary. You carry the mark of holy fire. You are chosen, and your flame is proof that God Himself has lit you to shine against the darkness. And no matter what comes against you, your fire will not die, because it was not born of man. It was born of heaven. The chosen carry something that no eye can see, yet every force of darkness fears: the mark of invisible protection. It is not armor of steel or walls of stone, but a divine covering wrapped around their lives. They walk through valleys where others fall. They stand in battles where others are crushed. They survive storms that should have destroyed them. Enemies rise, plans are made, traps are set, yet somehow the chosen still walk forward untouched. To the world it looks like luck. To the enemy it looks like frustration. But to heaven it is the signature of God: this one is mine, and no hand shall touch them unless I allow it. This invisible protection is not always loud. It is not announced with trumpets or revealed with flashing signs. It works quietly, moving mountains behind the scenes, redirecting attacks before they land, scattering enemies before they strike. The chosen often do not even realize how many dangers they have been spared, how many arrows missed their heart, how many traps they stepped over without knowing. They think it is coincidence, but in truth it is covenant. The protection of God does not always reveal itself in dramatic miracles. Sometimes it simply whispers, "Not today." The chosen know the reality of enemies. They feel the weight of jealousy, the sting of betrayal, the plots of those who would see them fall. And yet, time and time again, they remain standing. The very weapons designed for their destruction somehow become tools for their strengthening. The very storms sent to drown them push them closer to their purpose. This is the mystery of invisible protection. It does not always stop the battle, but it ensures the battle does not destroy them. They may walk through fire, but the fire does not consume. They may walk through floods, but the waters do not swallow. Their scars may tell of struggle, but their survival tells of covering. This protection is not earned, it is given. It is a mark placed by God Himself. Long before the chosen even know the dangers ahead, heaven has already built a shield around them. They are protected not because they are stronger, wiser, or better than others, but because their destiny requires preservation. The chosen cannot be erased before their assignment is complete. No enemy can write the end of their story, because their story was written by God before time began. The chosen are immortal until their mission is finished, and this invisible protection ensures that nothing will stop them before their appointed hour. The chosen also feel this protection in subtle ways. Sometimes it is the voice that says, "Don't go there," or "Don't trust that person." Sometimes it is the closed door that feels painful but later proves to be a blessing. Sometimes it is the delay that saves them from disaster. What feels like disappointment often turns out to be protection. What feels like rejection is actually redirection. God's shield is not only around them in visible danger, it is guiding their steps in hidden danger too. Every detour, every delay, every denial may sting in the moment, but in time it reveals itself as a shield that kept them safe from harm. Invisible protection also frustrates the enemy. Plots are made, yet they crumble. Curses are spoken, yet they bounce back. Attacks are launched, yet they fail. The enemy watches as the chosen walk through battle after battle, still breathing, still standing, still unbroken, and he cannot understand why. He sees every reason for their destruction, yet they rise again. He sees every wound, yet they heal again. He sees every weapon fired, yet none of them prosper. The protection of God is not visible to the enemy either, but its effect is undeniable. It is a wall of fire the darkness cannot cross. And though this protection is invisible, its evidence is everywhere in the chosen's life. The fact that they are still alive when circumstances said they should not be. The fact that they are still strong after seasons that should have left them weak. The fact that they still have hope when despair has claimed others. Their survival itself is proof of protection. Their journey itself is testimony that someone greater has been shielding them all along. To carry the mark of invisible protection is to walk with confidence, not arrogance, but assurance. Confidence that no matter what comes, God has already gone before them. Assurance that no enemy can shorten their destiny. Peace in the midst of chaos, because they know they are wrapped in a covering that cannot be broken. Even when they cannot feel it, even when they cannot see it, even when their circumstances scream otherwise, they are still shielded by the hand of God. So when the chosen walk into the valley, they do not fear. When they face enemies, they do not tremble. When they feel storms, they do not collapse. For within them is the certainty that their lives are not in the hands of men, not in the grip of fate, not in the plans of the enemy. Their lives are hidden in God, and His invisible protection surrounds them like an unbreakable shield. This is why the chosen outlast the attack, outlive the storm, and outshine the darkness, because heaven itself has declared, "Touch not my chosen, for they are mine." The chosen are not born to drift through life without direction. They are not placed on earth to chase empty pleasures or temporary crowns. They carry within them the mark of eternal assignment, a seal that ties their existence to something far greater than themselves. While others live for today, the chosen carry the weight of tomorrow. While others seek comfort, they are pulled by calling. While others measure their worth by possessions, the chosen measure theirs by purpose. This assignment is not a career, not a title, not a fleeting dream. It is a divine task written in eternity before they ever took their first breath. It is an unshakable reality that whispers through their soul, "You were made for more." This assignment is not always revealed in a single moment. Sometimes it unfolds in fragments, pieces scattered across seasons of life, each one shaping them for the fullness of their mission. The chosen often live in tension between what they see now and what they are destined to accomplish. They feel the weight of something unfinished, the pull of something not yet visible, and the hunger for something they cannot yet name. This restlessness is not a curse. It is the fire of eternal assignment pushing them toward completion. They cannot settle in temporary victories because their soul knows there is more. They cannot be satisfied with shallow pursuits because eternity is etched upon their heart. To carry this assignment means they live differently. Their steps are guided not by impulse but by destiny. They may walk roads others avoid, endure struggles others escape, and bear burdens others cannot carry. But every hardship is shaping them for the mission ahead. Every trial is preparing them for the weight of responsibility they must bear. Every delay is training their patience. Every rejection is teaching their strength. Every silence is sharpening their ears to hear God's voice more clearly. Nothing in their life is wasted because every moment is part of the assignment. The chosen cannot escape this mark even when they try. They may run to distractions, bury themselves in noise, or attempt to live like everyone else, but the pull always returns. It may come in dreams that disturb their sleep, in whispers that interrupt their thoughts, or in circumstances that push them back onto the path they tried to avoid. Jonah could not flee from his assignment, and neither can the chosen. Destiny will pursue them until they embrace it, because eternity is written into their bones. The eternal assignment also gives the chosen a different strength. While others collapse under pressure, they endure because their mission demands it. While others give up when doors close, they keep knocking because their destiny will not allow them to quit. They may be wounded, but they still move forward. They may be weary, but they still rise again. Their endurance is not fueled by pride, but by purpose. They know their life is not their own. It is a vessel carrying something sacred. And so, even when they do not feel like continuing, they continue anyway, because their assignment is greater than their emotions. But carrying an eternal assignment is also costly. It means sacrifice. It means letting go of things others cling to. It means walking away from paths that look easier, refusing temptations that seem attractive, and choosing obedience when rebellion looks tempting. At times it feels unfair. At times it feels heavy. Yet the chosen learn that the weight of obedience is lighter than the weight of regret. They know that to abandon their assignment would be to betray not only themselves, but generations who depend on their obedience. Because the truth of eternal assignment is this: it is never just about one person. The chosen's obedience unlocks doors for others. Their courage births freedom for others. Their faith plants seeds for others. Their mission is woven into the fabric of many lives, and if they fail, countless others may never find what was meant for them. This is why the chosen carry a holy urgency. They do not waste their days chasing empty things, because they know time is precious. Every sunrise is another chance to step closer to destiny. Every nightfall is another reminder that their days are numbered. Their assignment is eternal, and so they live with eternal vision. They invest in what will outlast them. They sow into futures they may never see. They labor not for applause, but for legacy. Their eyes are fixed not on what is temporary, but on what is timeless. The world may never fully understand the chosen. People may call them too serious, too focused, too intense. But the chosen do not live for the world's understanding. They live for heaven's approval. Their life is a letter being written by God. Their days are pages that tell a story larger than themselves. When their time on earth ends, their assignment will not end, because their obedience will ripple into eternity. The seeds they planted will grow long after they are gone. The words they spoke will echo in generations yet unborn. The battles they fought will make the path easier for those who come after them. To carry the mark of eternal assignment is to carry both burden and beauty. The burden of knowing you cannot live small, cannot settle for less, cannot waste your days in vanity, and the beauty of knowing your life matters beyond measure, that your steps are carved into eternity, that your existence is part of a divine story written before the foundation of the world. The chosen may stumble, but they will rise. They may delay, but they will not be denied. For their assignment is eternal, and eternity always calls louder than the temporary. So if you feel the weight of purpose pressing on you, if you feel the restlessness of destiny tugging at your soul, if you know deep down you were made for more than ordinary survival, then take heart. You carry the mark of eternal assignment. You are not wandering. You are on a mission. You are not lost. You are being led. And when your story is finished, it will not end in silence, because eternity will still echo with the sound of your obedience.